everyone, hope you all are fine. Welcome to the English Academy. In this video, we are going to cover Act 2, Scene 1 of A Christmas Carol written by Charles Dickens. Act 1 is also available on the channel with all detailed explanation of all the scenes of Act 1. If you want to get explanation of all those scenes, so you need to watch the videos posted on the channel earlier. In this video, we are going to start Scene 1 of Act 2. So let me introduce you the locations of the scene. 1. That is the streets of London, a pawn shop, Cratchit's home and a graveyard. Scrooge tentatively follows the ghost of Christmas future on stage and looks around. Two merchants walk on from the other side of the stage. If you remember in the last video of A Christmas Carol, which was the end of Act 1, Ghost of Christmas Future arrive, and now in this scene we are going to see that what Ghost of Christmas Future is going to show us and Scrooge particularly. Merchant 1. They say the Thames has frozen over. He has been for 2 days. Merchant 3 enters, walking past Scrooge and the Spirit. Students, before we are going ahead in this scene, I want to make you clear one thing, that this scene is all about future images. This nothing None of the event has happened yet. It's all about upcoming events. Ghost of Christmas Future is just showing the images of Scrooge's future, the possible incidents from his future, right? Nothing has happened yet. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon. News? Not much at all. Expect that it was sometime last night. What was it that finally killed him? I don't really know all of the details. I just know that he is gone. He is dead. Really? Well, do you know when he died? I believe it was sometime last night. If I'm honest, I thought he would never die. They laugh. God knows what it was that finished him. What does it matter so long as something did? What did he do with all of his money? Who knows? He didn't leave it all to me. That's for sure. They laugh. Perhaps he left to his company. There won't be much of a turnout for the funeral. No, you are right. There wasn't many that liked him at all. Not many? Upon my life, I cannot think of anyone who truly liked the man. They laugh. What do you say? We make up a party and go along to the funeral. They laugh. I'll go if they provide a lunch. Well, I must press on. All the best then. They exit. In the starting of the scene, there are three merchants talking to each other. They are the same merchant who in his Scrooge's life used to have a business with him. Now they are mocking his death, and they are saying they are only concerned with his money, that where he has left or for whom he has left all his money. Even they are not interested to go to his funeral, except the fact that the lunch is available. So they are interested, either otherwise they are not. So Scrooge was very shocked to see this. He said, "What do you show me this for a spirit?" He is asking why the spirit showed this to Scrooge. The spirit stares at Scrooge. He points on to the stage where someone is setting up a washing line. Old rugs hung from it. Under it is a smoldering fire. A man warms himself beside it. I don't understand, spirit. How did these people bear on my life in my futures? Do I associate with such people? As I told you before, that after listening to their conversation, Scrooge was so much surprised that these are the same people with whom I used to have a business, and in future, when I will be no more in the world, they are not even interested to attend my funeral, rather they are interested in my money. Scrooge looks around and doesn't recognize the place. Now there is an other location, a pawn shop, and there are some other characters coming. Let's see what this is all about. What? Where are we? Scrooge asks the ghost of Christmas future. Come in, don't dilly dally by the door, women. Mary rushes in a crying, in a carrying a bundle of clothes. She throws it down. Mary, well, what odds, old Joe? I believe every person has a right to take care of themselves, and God knows he always did. True, true, no man more so. Well, what are you waiting for? Take a look and tell me what you think. Don't be afraid. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man at any rate. No, indeed. Old Joe hesitates to open the bundle. If he wanted to keep them after he was dead, he should have been better in his lifetime. If he was, he would have had someone to see him through to his last days. Instead, he lay there for days, gasping out his last, alone in the dark by himself. Never a truer word is spoken, miss. It was the bed he made for himself, it was his judgment. And as I see, he was let off very lightly. Had it been me casting out the punishment, he would have been dealt worse. Now come along, Joe, open up that bundle and tell me what you will give for it. Let me tell you one thing, old Joe is a pawnbroker who actually purchases the old stuff of someone, and Mary is a thief. They found Mary actually is a thief who found Scrooge's died on his bed. No one was there around him because if all of us we know that Scrooge was a person who did not like to meet the people. He did not, make up so many relationships. So when he died, he was all alone, and all of his stuff which he gathered throughout his life, the very expensive and precious things he gathered, was stolen by Mary. And now he has brought a bundle of his belongings to old Joe in order to pawn them, in order to sell them. To sell them, Mary brought all these things together in a bundle. Let's see what's inside in the bundle. Old Joe opens the bundle, some sheets, two towels, some clothes, two old silver spoons, a pair of sugar tongs, and a pair of boots. And what's this? I took all the food he had left in the house. And what's this? It's all wrapped up in? Why, them's is his bed curtains. You don't mean that you took them down, rings and all, as he was lying dead? Yes, I did. And why not? That's callous. It's horrible. I can't believe someone could do something so dastardly and downright immoral. I love it. They laugh. And are these his sheets and blankets? The very same. I imagine it will be warm where he is now. Mary was such a thief that she did not even leave the food which was left behind in his apartment, and the things were bundled up in the bed curtains. Simple is that she did not leave a single thing over there after his death. Old Joe suddenly drops the bundle. I hope he did not die of anything catching. Old Joe was, getting a bit conscious about it because all of these things were of a dead person, and he was thinking that might possible he is died of anything, anything infection or something that can be passed on after someone's death, any disease as such. Old Joe pretends to struggle for breath and slump onto his side, staring blankly into space. Mary looks unsure as to whether or not it's a joke before old Joe jumps up laughing. They both cackle. Like they're actually trying to reenact the Scrooge's death scene when he was gasping for the air. He was trying to breathe, but he couldn't, and in the last, he died. So they were actually mocking his death and making fun of him. Worry not, Joe. I believe he died of a bad heart and a cruel one. You turn your attentions to that shirt there, a fine one. It is not a hole in it. That one was the best that he had, and they only would have wasted it. Mary did not even the shirt he was wearing at that time because it was quite expensive, and she said that after a person's die, so he is going to the graveyard or he is buried, so she did not even want to lose that shirt which he was wearing at the time of his death. Wasted it. They was going to bury him in it, but I slipped it off his old cold bones. He can bury it in a cheaper one. He can't look any uglier than he did at any rate. Mary is saying nothing can be more uglier than whatever he has done in his life. So Mary thought that even he can be buried in a cheaper shirt, so why why to waste the expensive one? So she actually took off his shirt. Mary mimics how Scrooge looked when dead, and they laugh once more. Mary and old Joe root through the bundle. Scrooge turns to the spirits. It's a wonder that they don't try to sell this poor, unfortunate body itself. Scrooge was actually being sarcastic over here and saying that thank God he has left his body. He did not sell his dead body, because even if they can take the last shirt, if she can take the last shirt he was wearing, so only the body was left. Old Joe throws a bag of money down. He frightened away all in his life so that we may profit in his death. Mary laughs and they clear the stage, cackling. They exit, leaving Scrooge alone with the spirit. Now the scene will be changed. Right here, the scene of old Joe and Mary has been finished. May I recap it for you that Mary is a thief, old Joe is a pawnbroker. Mary gather or theft all the Scrooge's belongings and brought to old Joe to pawn. Now again Scrooge and Spirit are left alone. Spirit, I understand if I do not mend my ways, I will follow in the steps of this unhappy dead man that they talk of. Merciful heavens, show me no more heaven. Be merciful. If there be any debt left, anything for this poor man, take me to them, let me some tenderness. Scrooge and the spirit find themselves in the Cratchit family home. After seeing this, Scrooge was so much disheartened and he said to the ghost of Christmas future that he does not want to see anymore and he want to see something good, something soft, something that can, help him to mend his ways. Now, here comes the Cratchit's house. Mrs. Cratchit is knitting in her chair. Martha sits by her chair, staring at the floor. The dim light hurts my eyes, makes them weak. I wouldn't show your father weak eyes. It must be near his time now. Mrs. Cratchit is saying that dim light hurts her eyes, and she does not want to look weak in front of Mr. Cratchit, in front of Bob Cratchit. So, because Cratchit is about to come back to the home after doing his job. Martha, it is past, mother, but he has walked a little slower these past few nights. I have known him walk very fast with tiny Tim upon his shoulders, were very, very fast indeed. So have I, mother, often. Martha stands and holds her mother. Well, he was very light to carry, was Tim. Your father loved him so much that I believed he was no burden to carry at all. Cratchit enters looking drained yet cheerful. Well, well, look here. What do we have here? Martha runs to her father. Martha, my darling Martha, and my beautiful wife, look at this lovely work. Cratchit lifts his wife's knitting. Lovely, you will be done well before Sunday. Actually, Martha and Mrs. Cratchit are set for some reason. They were actually recalling Tiny Tim's memory. As you know, that Tim was critically ill son and he was not able to walk on his own. So Cratchit was the one who carried him on his shoulder and he felt really light about it. He never felt burden. But now when Tiny Tim is no more, so Cratchit walks rather slowly because he actually really miss Tiny Tim. But somehow he is trying to lighten up the situation. He was showing Mrs. Cratchit's knitting work to everyone and wanted to appreciate it in order to change the mode, or in order to change the environment of the house to make it more lighter. Cratchit sits at the table staring blankly at the knitting. You went today then, Robert? Mrs. Cratchit is asking that. Did you go there? Yes, my dear, and I so wish you could have come to Father Green. Really has been so wonderful and kind to us, and he always was to Tim as well. I think it would have done you good to see what a light and peaceful place it is, and how pretty. It's called Green Acres, but you will see it in good time. I promised Tim that we would walk there every Sunday, and Green Acres is a place where Tim and Mr. Cratchit used to go. And right here on this day, Mr. Cratchit also went there, and now Mrs. Cratchit was asking about it. Cratchit suddenly breaks down weeping. My little boy, it is obvious, surely that Tiny Tim is no more in the future, and the family is actually trying to cope up, is trying to, is trying to make themselves strong after losing Tiny Tim. The family gathers around him. Cratchit controls himself. I saw young Fred, Mr. Scrooge's nephew, in the town today. He knew nothing of our plight, but must have gathered something from my face. He asked me what the matter was. Do you know, when I told him, he said, I am heartily sorry for it, Bob, and heartily sorry for your good wife. He is a very decent man. Fred only met him on a couple of occasions previously, and but he is a genuinely good soul. He told me that if he could be of any service in any way, then we should not hesitate to call. And he handed me his card. There is nothing he can do for us, but the kind way he spoke to me, it felt as though he really knew our Tim and felt our pain with us. When Mr. Cratchit was coming back to home, so on his way, he met Fred. If you remember, he was Cratchit, Scrooge's nephew, and he actually did not know about Tim's death, but he somehow came to know that something unhappy happened with Mr. Cratchit. So he actually offered his services. He was sorry for his death. He was very kind and polite, and even he handed over Mr. Cratchit his visiting card, that if any time they need any sort of help, so Fred is there to help them out. Cratchit looks at his family. I mustn't complain. I have a beautiful wife and a very loving family, and we were lucky to have had them in our lives, even if it was far all too short a time. Even though that they have lost the time, but Cratchit is very much hopeful, and he was saying to his family that we should not be that much sad. We should embrace the time when Tim was there with them, and they have actually spent a really good time with him. Can anything be done? Is this what must be? Have I been so blind? Scrooge is asking his spirit that, is this possible that anything can be done? Spirit, the ice has melted from my heart, but in its space there is a blazing fire. Is this what must be? It is it. Now Scrooge finally realized that he has done something terribly wrong, and now he is asking Spirit that, is there any way that he can mend the things, he can fix the things he did wrong throughout his life. Scrooge and the spirit find themselves alone in a dark place. Now I know this place, this court, this path. They are familiar to me. My home is not far from here. Please, Spirit, take me there and show me who I become. I am ready to see. The spirit turns away from Scrooge and points. Spirit, this is not the way. What would you have me see over here? Scrooge and the spirit enter a graveyard. Now the location has been changed. This is the last location of Act 2, Scene 1, in which there is a graveyard. Scrooge, the spirit points behind Scrooge at a gravestone. Scrooge looks at the grave, then back at the spirit with fear in his eyes. The spirit walks towards Scrooge, forcing Scrooge to his knees before the grave. Spirit, I understand. I know the man of whom they were speaking before. I know whose grave this is. It is mine. Please, Spirit, tell me that these are but the shadows of things that could be. I need a second chance, please. I tell you, Spirit, give me occasion and I will change course. I will change paths. I will change my life's course and I will avoid these dark events. I can change. Spirit, please. Scrooge is actually begging to Spirit that he wants another chance. He wanted to change himself. He will mend his ways. He will change his path. He will fix all the things. But all he needs is a second chance. A figure rises from the grave behind Scrooge, takes hold of him, and pulls him under. Another actor with Scrooge's same costume rises out, and a struggle between the figure and the Scrooge ensues in the grave. This gives the actor playing Scrooge time to quietly exit and get to his bed before scene 2. So, this is the end of scene 1, in which we came to know that there were different locations. First one, we came to know that merchants were talking to each other about Scrooge's death. They were actually mocking and making fun of him. They were not interested in how he died and what happened to him. They were only discussing about his death, his money after his death. Then old Joe and Mary came. Mary theft all of his belongings and sold it to old Joe. Then Cratchit's home was there, where we came to know that Tiny Tim is no more, and Cratchit family is trying to, become stronger in this hard time. And in the last, there was graveyard, in which we saw Scrooge's grave, and after seeing his grave, he finally came to know that all the shadows were of his future, and now he wanted to change himself. He wanted another chance, and let's see that what is going to be happening next. Either he will get another chance or not, or what's going to happen. For next video, you need to subscribe the channel, keep watching the videos. If you have any query regarding this scene, you can ask me in comment section. Till next video, take care, bye bye.